Hello, sugar friends. Today I want to talk more about how my pain helped me discover my purpose. I always hear people talk about, I want to live in my purpose and I want to fulfill my mission. I wanted to look up the definition of what purpose meant. And one of the definitions that really stood out to me is that God has allowed suffering, even purposed it. Another one was purpose is the reason something is done, like something has happened. So I wanted to tell a little more about my story, how I know my pain helped me discover my purpose. My husband and I know I've told this story several times, but today I want to really go deeper and encourage people about, turning their pain into some purpose. And I want to even share another story of a mom who had lost a child that I just recently learned about a couple months ago. But her story is so powerful and it's so similar to mine. And I just really want to encourage with, real life examples of how someone have went through something painful. And I know, like in my instance, it's a loss of a child, but in yours, it could be a divorce, a loss of a job, so many different things that life throw at us. If we really find a way to ask ourselves better questions, instead of maybe why me, why this, my coach always said, if you ask yourself better questions, you'll get better answers. When I start asking myself, what was the purpose of this? What was the meaning of it? I started getting better answers. My husband and I, we had a daughter and we had planned a pregnancy. We wanted to have a son. So we started trying in February. By March, I was expecting. And like I said, we prayed and hoped for a son. And when I found out what I was having, we were so excited when we found out that we indeed was having a boy. We painted custom letters, and my husband's name is Robert, so my son's name was Robert Jr. So we painted him, my daughter and I, we painted custom letters and even themed it out for my, like Robert, we might add like a basketball to it or a football. My husband is a big sports fan, so, all the letters we did with different themes and maybe words of affirmations on like the O and the T. And we did so many things. And I ordered like a custom clock for his room that said Robert Jr. His room, I will never forget, it was custom. It was dark chocolate, green, and blue, and the theme of airplanes and cars. So everything was just laid out, his crib and the closet was full. I don't know if any mom remember 𝓲𝓪𝓲𝓷, the store where they had like the custom fits, where they had the hat, the socks, just everything was so put together. I just love that store. I felt like I was literally there every day. My daughter would be like, we going to 𝓲𝓪𝓲𝓷 again. And, like the shoes to match the outfits. And I washed and ironed all his clothes and had the closet just laid out. I had the diaper bag ready for the hospital and matching outfits for my husband and my son to wear home. And my son was born around Christmas time. So I even had an outfit for me, my daughter, my husband to wear for our Christmas photos. So I ended up going into labor on my due date. And during delivery, my son lost oxygen. So immediately they rushed him to a nearby hospital where they did treatments to try to help him regain brain activity to see if it was anything they could do. But unfortunately, he ended up living for 9 days and passing away. His funeral was 4 days before Christmas. So the matching outfits that we had for Christmas, we ended up wearing to his funeral. As painful as it was to lose my son unexpectedly after a pregnancy that was beautiful, no complications, no sickness, and it was just totally unexpected that something like this would happen. As much as I would give anything to have my son here, I also know that 100% is what led me to my purpose, which I now know is marketplace ministry. At the time, after losing my son, I spent my days and nights just, devastated, crying, sad, and, just trying to make sense of everything. my daughter's birthday was approaching and she asked me to make her a Barbie birthday cake. I know I've shared this story so many times, but as I get more comfortable podcasting, I kind of wanted to just go deeper into it, and because I really want to encourage moms to see, and I even want to share another story of a mom that I recently heard of, that I learned of, who is now wildly successful. Her story was so similar to mine of what happened to her, because I really want to encourage moms, and not even just moms, people, when life throws you something painful, ask yourself. When I started asking myself better questions, like I said, I got better answers. What is the meaning behind this, and what is the purpose, and what am I supposed to get out? Instead of me sitting around, at first feeling sorry for myself, asking me, why me, and why would this happen to me? And, this is so unfair. My husband and I, we live in integrity. We're honest people. We're good people. When I started asking myself, why did this happen? What's the meaning behind it? What's the purpose? And I will always tell my husband, whatever reason that my son, it was not meant for him to be here, if it was a purpose or mission that God wanted me to fulfill, I will fulfill that purpose. I will not allow my son's death to be in vain. And that's what I always say. Whatever it was meant to happen, I'm going to accomplish that. So, which now, like I said, I now know is marketplace ministry. My daughter's birthday was approaching, her fourth birthday was approaching a couple months after my son passed away. And she asked me to make her a Barbie cake. And at that time, I did not know that would be the thing that led me to my purpose. I did that. That was the first thing that had brought me any type of joy, gave me, something to think about and to study. And after I did that, so many people started asking me to make them more cakes. And my sister kid's birthday was coming up, and they would ask me to make their kids' cakes. My husband started showing it to his coworkers. They would ask me to make their kids' cakes. And after a while, I was like, okay, I guess just give me the cost of ingredients. And so I started making these cakes, and it grew, and I ended up starting a bakery from the basement of my house, which now has grown to us owning a successful storefront. And so, I never seen entrepreneurship in my future. That's not nothing that I ever thought that I would do, or, I don't think it even ever crossed my mind. In fact, my counselor had came to our house because she wanted to see when I would talk about my son's room and, just the memory and how hard it is to walk in the house. And she wanted to see and understand exactly what I was talking about. So she came to our house and seen his room and everything. And she wanted, she wanted us to show her around our whole house. So we showed it to her, and she was like, you are so creative, and the way your house is decorated, and, you have talents that you have not even tapped into. And at the time I just thought, maybe she's being nice or whatever. And I remember her telling me, you and your husband will own 2 or 3 businesses. And I remember as she left, I shut the door and I kind of, laughed at my husband and told him, she is a great counselor, but she has no idea what she's talking about. Us own 2 or 3 businesses, Robert, that is so funny. Entrepreneurs. And we literally just never thought nothing else about it. But I now know that was, the reason as my life began to unfold and grow. I now reason that God had to use that pain to usher me into my purpose. And now, although we own a business, I always tell my husband, we always talk, our business is so much more than just a business. The mission behind it, the impact that it has had on us, and how it has helped us evolve into totally different people, the ripple effect of us walking into our purpose, how we've been able to help others. Okay, but before I get too far ahead of myself, I wanted to share another clip of another mom who had lost a child and how she turned her pain into purpose. It was so inspiring to me. I just recently, a couple months ago, just, started watching her on YouTube and learned that her story was so similar to mine. And it's amazing to see how her pain led her to purpose. Okay, but I want you to hear it.
When I went through this tragic moment, it was 2013, and I was pregnant with my son, my first son. I have two girls, and this was our last child. This pregnancy was a surprise. We were not expecting to have any more kids. We were fine with our two little girls. So I knew that it was something, and I said, well, okay, God, I'm pregnant, so I'm going to enjoy this pregnancy, and I'm going to be happy with it because I felt that it was a blessing. 8.5 months later, that's when tragedy struck. My second daughter, I had a C-section with her, and her C-section was an emergency situation, and I had to get a classical incision on my uterus. Not on my stomach, but on my uterus. So the risk when you have a classical cut on your uterus, when you get pregnant again with your next child, you're at risk for uterine rupture because you have a cut up and down versus transverse on your uterus. And sorry if I'm using medical terms. So I had this cut on my uterus. So when I started to contract with my son, the worst thing happened, and my uterus ruptured. I went to the doctor. My husband rushed me to the emergency room. They took me to labor and delivery. I got upstairs, and the doctors took forever to get my son out. And me being a labor and delivery nurse, I know protocol. I know that when you have a patient that's going into labor and there's no heartbeat and the baby's heart rate is dropping, you're supposed to get this patient back to the OR. So me being a nurse and seeing my son's heart rate drop and there was nothing I can do was very devastating. So eventually they waited until the doctor got there. The doctor then finally took me back to the OR, performed a C-section. When my son was born, he was born brain dead. Because he lost oxygen to his brain. Sorry. He lost oxygen to his brain, and when they finally brought him into the room with me, he had all this oxygen, but he was bright and pink. And I asked my mom at that time, I said, is he okay? Her response to me, her look told me that he wasn't. Even though she said he was okay, he wasn't okay. So me being a nurse and having a medical background, I already knew that he wasn't here. He was no longer present with us. But at that time, me and my husband, we didn't want to let go. We held strong in our faith. We felt that, God was going to bring our baby boy back to life, and we held on to him for 6 months and watched him on life support for 6 months because we knew and we were hoping and praying for a miracle that he would wake up one day, but he never woke up. So we took that pain and we decided to be at peace with our decision to let him go and to be our angels to watch over us and my two girls. So once that happened to me, I decided to take action into my own hands, take my faith and activate my faith, because instead of being down and depressed and letting that get me down, because postpartum depression is real. And I could have been down and depressed, but I decided that I'm going to take action. I'm going to be sane for my two girls. I want to be a good mother to them because I still have to raise them and set a good example for them. So in order for me to stay sane, I had to go back to my passion, and my passion was what I loved to do as a little girl. I've always been passionate about hair care. I've always been passionate about beauty, and I found myself just researching ingredients and learning about hair care and how to take care of my hair. And going through my own journey with my hair, I decided to talk about it on social media because that was giving me an outlet of just sanity and giving me something to do, something that I love and something that I was passionate about. And I took that painful situation and turned it into something great. And now that I look back, I understand that the reason why I went through that pain is to get to my purpose today. I sell products, of course, but what I do in my company is bigger than selling hair products. It's way bigger than that. I feel that God put me through that pain to give me a purpose, to inspire others, to follow their passion, to follow their dreams.
Okay, I wanted to share that for a couple reasons. I wanted to show other examples of how other moms have turned their pain into purpose. My mom always used to tell me, if you're looking for something, you will find it. So instead of me, sitting around, like I said, asking myself, why me and why this, I started looking for other moms who had lost a child. And I started asking them, how did you make it through it? What did you do? And how did you get past it? What were some tools? What did you use to distract yourself? And I know it was so many other stories of, people saying, when this has happened, people have turned to drugs or alcohol abuse, so many things to try to cope, because losing a child is devastating. It's nothing short of just absolutely devastating. And it was days I thought, man, I don't know if I'll ever, you know, get past this or how can I move forward. But I just wanted to share other stories of moms who it has also happened to and just encourage you to try to ask yourself different questions. Try to channel that pain into ask yourself, like, why did this happen? Is there a mission or maybe a calling on my life that only a deep pain will help me get to? Stories like Monique that help inspire me so much when I would just listen and search for podcasts of different moms that have lost a child and look for different stories. This one, it just inspired me all over again to help me know I haven't even tapped into my purpose. Monique, her story is so encouraging and powerful to me. Now she's like a multi-millionaire that sells her product and that has been distributed in more than 87 countries and sold in more than 100,000 stores. But to me, most importantly about her story is that, she's speaking on stages now, telling her story about how she turned her pain into purpose, how something negative that happened to her, she found a way to turn it into something positive. And I think that's the most important part of her story that really stands out to me. And it helps me realize too, like I said, I haven't even tapped into my purpose. And even as my purpose unfolds, it's still so touching to me, the inboxes that I get or the calls that I receive of other moms or maybe people that's going through a dark place telling me that my story has gave them strength to try to find their purpose in it, to get up, to try to, figure it out, make sense of it. And it's always so encouraging for me to sit down and talk to those moms and tell them things that help me and try to help encourage them and give them inspiration to find their purpose. Like I said, my journey led me to now running a successful business where I have the privilege of leading a team that I actually truly love. Our shop has become a destination shop in Michigan, which was always a dream of mine. And I was so excited that recently we've been featured on a few publications where they're now listing us as a destination shop in Michigan. We've been voted one of Michigan's best small businesses. So it's just been such a joy to see where my purpose is taking us. And, me having the privilege of to work with young girls at the shop and Robert able to mentor the young man that work for us. Our team has truly become part of our family. On the past Sunday, we just took our team to Cedar Point. It's been just, truly a privilege to watch how everything begins to evolve and how we've been able to be a business in the community that we love. It's been such a blessing. We have the most amazing customers, and our shop isn't just a place of business, but it's about community, about making memories and sharing experiences and growing together. So the relationships we've built in the community, I feel like it's just such a testament to how God has turned our pain into purpose, the rewarding side to see of after going through such a painful loss. So we just want to continue to be that place in the community where families can come and share memories and people from out of town come to make new memories. And it's just been such a blessing. And I think too, the ripple effect of walking in your purpose it just ripples right now. Like even me, started doing cakes and my husband started as just helping me as a way to cope with help me to help distract me. So he was like, well, if this is going to help my wife, not, be sad all the time. So he started helping me just out of that reason. But as more he helped me and got involved in the business, it helped him began to realize his purpose, which was so much bigger than what he was doing at the time, which was working at a factory. Now Robert is like a true entrepreneur. I would tell him ideas and things I had, and the way Robert can grow stuff and grow a business, he added so much fire to my business and my ideas. It's amazing. I would tell him something and he would know exactly how to strategically implement it, and the relationship he's built and the connections. Now he has such a deeper purpose. And at the time, he was helping me as just trying to help his wife get to a better place. But in that, he helped find his purpose. So sometimes when you walking in your purpose, it helps others find theirs. Your purpose is not just about you. It's about who you are meant to help in the world, who you're called to. Now, the young man that come to the shop just to show Robert their report card, or to tell him, if they're going on an interview, they want Robert to sit down and, maybe coach them on how to interview, and so much stuff that has led to this. Even my daughter, it's amazing now. She, is starting to begin to see what her purpose is and what does she want to do, and her ability to just dream in full color and realize that anything is possible. So my purpose, me going through my pain, it has helped others around me. Just as examples, like I shared Monique, her story has inspired me so much. And I'm hoping to share my story more and more, that it will help others. And then that person will share their story and they will help others. The ripple effect will just continue to grow and to help spread positivity through something that was so dark, something that could have literally destroyed me and my family. We've chosen to take this painful thing and to let it work for us, to embrace it. As hard as it was and even is still, it's so hard, as moments come up, like my son's birthday will be coming up, where he'll be he would have been a teenager this year. And it's so hard. Me and Robert just sit and think like, man, it will be so nice, RJ, and just, the dreams and goals we have for him. My husband's dream was always for his son to go play at U of M football, and, the different things that we've had to accept, the hard pains that have come with this. But now just seeing as many people as our story has helped and encouraged, and it still continues to encourage, and the inboxes and calls we get just on a daily, it's just so inspiring to know that something so painful, that God calling on our life was so much bigger than we even knew. Like I said, eyes have not seen or ears heard the things that God has in store for us, the things God has in store for you. So I just want to encourage you. Might be going through something so painful. It could be a painful divorce, a loss of a job, whatever that might be, whatever that looks like. Ask yourself, the questions like, why did this happen? What was the reason for it? What am I supposed to get out of it? I know sometimes it's so easy to like try to, to want to soak into the woe is me. But I just wanted to encourage you, ask yourself better questions. What was meant for this? What is it meant for me to accomplish in this world? I know it's some people that is waiting just to hear your story. My story will help some, but it's some people that only your story will help. So I just want to encourage you to, start sharing your story. What is it that you're going through? What dark place is it? What do you feel like I will never get past? I'll never get through this. And this has just come to destroy my life. Or, I felt like that. I felt like, wow, my family would have been perfect. A boy and a girl. Me and Robert just bought the house in the neighborhood that we really wanted. And, at the time, and so many things was going, it seemed so perfect. So us losing our son at that time was just devastating. And we had to find our way back. And now just to see that so many young men that Robert is helping, and so many people and moms that I'm inspiring, and just the ripple effect of the ways that we have intricately, helped other people in their business endeavors and, walked alongside so many people to help them get their business started. The ripple effect is just amazing to see. We now host a banquet that has over each year 500 people in attendance, just inspiring and encourage others to chase their dreams. So sometimes the most painful things in life, it's a reason that God sent us through trials and tribulations. And sometimes nobody wants to, like I always say, be that example in that person, but sometimes God knows that has to use something painful to help usher you into your purpose. So again, I just wanted to, go a little deeper. I know I talked a little bit about my story of how my pain helped lead me to my purpose. But I just wanted to go a little deeper into it. And I really want to encourage you, whatever that is that you're going through, look up, look up. And I just always want to be that example of what's possible and continue to shed light on others that have turned their pain into purpose. I know finding purpose through pain it's a powerful journey. And I hope my story and stories of others continue to inspire you to embrace your pain and find your purpose in it. As I continue to share my story and share stories of others, like I shared Monique, which is she's the owner of Mielle Organics. My purpose has given me seats at different tables that will in turn help me be able to help my community and be example of what's possible. And most importantly, to teach my daughter when the going gets tough, the tough get going. I know finding purpose through pain, it's a powerful journey. And I hope stories like mine and stories of others continue to inspire you to embrace your pain and find your purpose. As always, thanks for listening. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing your purpose. Bye for now, sugar friends.